I've loved sharks ever since I was a kid, and having a passion for them, loving these dragons, these dinosaurs, but real ones on the planet. I was fascinated by sharks. And when I became an adult, I was pretty clear I wanted a life with animals and a life with the ocean. Became a wildlife photographer, and everywhere I went to photograph sharks, they were getting killed.
The word was out that fins meant money, and sharks were being killed solely for their fins in virtually every country with a coastline.
Really clear to me that I needed to do something about this. So making Sharkwater was a really beautiful experience, and having it come out and change people's lives and influence their decisions to go into biology or study sharks has been amazing. I had no idea it would have that impression, but when I made a movie like that, I made it to change the world, and I hoped that it would appeal to people's hearts and minds and inspire them to be better and make different decisions in their lives. So I thought it would change the world, but I didn't know or didn't expect that it would influence young people and give them purpose and hope, and that was something really beautiful. So I knew how to take pretty pictures, still images, and I figured most of the big IMAX movies that I saw, the cameras didn't move that much, so I figured, okay, I can probably get pretty underwater images of sharks. My girlfriend bought me 2 books on how to make movies, and I read those on the plane on the way there. And I just figured it out as I went along. I had 2 movies on my laptop computer, Snatch and Amelie, and if I got into a situation where I wanted to figure out how something was shot, I would watch those movies and try to figure out how they shot it, and just learned as I went. You know, when I came back from the first shoot, we had 137 HD tapes, which I couldn't even see, because the player to watch the HD tapes was $100,000. So I had all these tapes. I'd never made a movie before. I had no idea how to edit a movie. And that's part of why making Sharkwater took so long. You know, it took 4 years because we never had any money. And also I didn't really know what to do. So at every step, I had to figure out, how do you edit? How do you hire an editor? What does an editor do? And it was a really beautiful film school process for me, learning all of that from the ground up. Sharkwater came out at a really perfect time, I think, for the cause and for sharks in general. Sharks were considered monsters, and not many people really cared about their protection.
3 people were hurt Saturday in another shark attack.
And I think part of our view as sharks blinded us to the fact that they were being wiped out. So shark populations dropped 90% in 30 years, and nobody noticed. And when Sharkwater came out, we tried to change the public's perception of sharks and make people love sharks. So people could see sharks through my eyes and see that they're important and magnificent and necessary for our planet.
We've only been here for a few million years, and in the last 100 years, we've greatly impacted life in the ocean. But we also have the power to change it for the better.
So when the movie came out, there were 16 countries that had banned shark finning, and now there's more than 100 countries that have banned shark finning. Shark fin imports to China have dropped 70%. The Chinese government banned shark fin soup at all government functions. More than 124 million people have seen the movie. The fin-free movement has banned shark fin in countless territories, New York, California. They've all banned shark fin where you can't own it, possess it, or trade it. So, you know, a movement started, and we've heard from at least a dozen conservation groups that are people that say, you know, we got going because we saw your movie and we learned about sharks and what was happening to them, and we said something has to be done. And now there's a whole conservation group with staff and funding, and that's a massive force, I think. So it's been an incredible thing to see. And I think what Sharkwater proved to me was that humanity's good in a way. We just don't know what's going on. And that as soon as we understand the issue, we'll do the right thing. We didn't know that our consumption of this dish was causing the demise of one of the oldest, longest lasting, most important predators the planet has. When we found out, we made different decisions. We chose something else. And that says something really profound, especially considering the predicament that we're in now, where we've got to change the world in even more profound ways. I think we're in a trend of conservation mindedness right now that is radically changing. So far with our environmental problems, we've been fighting against the problem. We've been trying to slow down emissions or slow down overfishing, where I think the future of environmentalism is not fighting against the problem, but fighting for the world we want. Imagining what this world would look like if we designed it to be beautiful for all species. What if we put the life back in the oceans? What if the rivers and the lakes were teeming with fish and could provide food for everybody? What if we grew food on the roofs and food was abundant everywhere? If you brought that life back, you would gain the ecosystem services that we need. That would creation of oxygen, processing of waste. You'd capture enough carbon in that life to jump over our current environmental predicaments and problems. So I think very much our environmental crises are changing, and they're forcing a new way of thinking for us, where we need to create something more beautiful instead of just slowing down the problem. What's next? We're making Sharkwater 2, and it's currently called Sharkwater Extinction, and it's about the quest to find 80 million missing sharks. Right now, scientists think there's more than 100 million sharks that are getting killed every year. There's about 150, maybe more, 150 million sharks getting killed every year. And scientists only know where 70 million of those sharks are going. There's 80 million sharks a year that are getting killed, and we don't know where they're ending up or why. And so Sharkwater 2 is a quest to find these 80 million missing sharks and see what we can do to save them. As many as 150 million sharks are killed every year, and scientists can only account for 70 million of those. There are 80 million sharks a year that are being killed, and nobody knows why or where they're going. And in this movie, we find out where they're going. They're going into cosmetics like lipstick and moisturizer. They're going into pet food, livestock feed, fertilizer, vaccines, and they're being renamed and fed to us, so we don't know we're eating shark. They're calling it flake and rock salmon. It's turning up in our fast food sandwiches and our fish and chips and our fish sticks. So while we've been pointing our finger at Asia for so long, saying stop killing sharks for shark fins, now there's probably an even larger market for other shark products that we're using on a daily basis. And this is big brands that are using sharks. So we're about to launch a campaign called Shark Free to get sharks out of cosmetics, out of our fast food sandwiches, out of our consumables in our daily lives, and get them back in the ocean. What goes on in the oceans is out of sight and out of mind. And many people on the planet don't live in a relationship with the oceans. They don't live near it, they've never put their face in it, they don't understand how it works, that it gives us half of the oxygen in the air that we breathe, that it feeds 1 billion people on the planet. So to create an event, be it a Shark Week, a World Oceans Day, anything like that, to draw attention to the oceans is really important. It's proven time again, people protect what they love and what they understand. And the more people can understand the oceans as the source for life, as our life support system, and understand sharks as the most important predator in the ecosystems that we depend on for survival, we're going to get way further ahead than if we continue without that knowledge.